Hello everyone, how are you all? I guess everyone is doing good. I'm also doing great. So today we shall be discussing 8th class mathematics. Maths will make complicated things simple. So we shall discuss today about numbers, whole numbers, natural numbers, rational numbers. So if I ask you to count number of students in your class, what do you say? You'll start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So there will be almost 30, 40, 50 students in each class. Right? If I ask you how many students are there in your school, you'll start counting from 1, 2, 3 and so on up to 300, 400, 500 like that. Isn't it? Yes. So how do you start counting your numbers? We'll start counting from 1, 2, 3 and so on. And what about, so if I ask you, count the number of stars in the sky, what do you say? You'll start counting 1, 2, 3 and then you'll say infinity. So there will be countless number of stars. So that's what we will be discussing today. So we shall be discussing today about natural numbers. So I'll start counting the stars from 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on up to infinity. So these numbers are called natural numbers. So these numbers are called natural numbers and they are represented with N, capital N. Natural numbers are represented with capital N. So what are these numbers called? Natural numbers. Yes? Yes. Next. So I have given you some 4 or 5 chocolates and you distributed among all your friends, for 5 friends. And you have given all the 5 chocolates to your friends. So then I will ask you, how many chocolates do you have? So you don't have any chocolates, so you'll say 0. So I have 0 chocolates with me. Yes? So are these numbers sufficient to do whatever the calculations we are doing right now? No, these numbers are not sufficient. We need some other numbers apart from these natural numbers. So what is the other number? The other number is 0. So 0. So let's start the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on up to infinity. So the number including 0 are called, what are these numbers called? These numbers are called whole numbers. So these numbers are called whole numbers and represented by W. So these numbers are represented by W. The numbers including natural numbers. So the numbers starting from 0 to infinity are called whole numbers. Now you can see here. So the numbers starting from 1 are called natural numbers and 0 is a whole number. Yes? So can we write like this? Natural number is a subset of whole number. Can we write like this? If you can observe here, natural numbers are a subset of whole numbers. Yes? Yes. Now, so is this sufficient? Is this sufficient to calculate all the numbers in the or can we do all the calculations with these 2 numbers only? No. We need some other numbers apart from these. So what are those numbers? So if I say so if you go to the polar region or if you go into the frizz. So let's take a simple example. Don't go up to polar region or something else. So let's take a simple example. So if you go into your frizz, what is the temperature inside your deep freezer? So it will be in negative. So it will be -2, -3 degrees, -10 degrees Celsius. Yes? So yes, we also need negative numbers. We also need negative numbers to do some calculations. So let's start. So minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on up to infinity, and here also up to so on up to infinity. These numbers are called integers. What are these numbers called? These numbers are called integers and are represented by capital Z. So these numbers are called integers and are represented by capital Z. So these numbers are called integers and are represented by, you can see here from 0 up to infinity, these numbers are called whole numbers. Yes, now you can say whole numbers are a subset of integers. Yes, so you can see here natural numbers are a subset of whole numbers are a subset of integers. Yes, okay. Then one more thing, let's discuss about. So how many marks your teacher has put up a test and you got some marks. So for suppose your teacher has put up a test for 10 marks and you got 9 in Telugu, 8 in Hindi and 7 in you say math, English and 9 on maths and so on. And so on up to infinity. So the numbers which are represented in P by Q form are called, what are these numbers called? Rational numbers and are represented by capital Q. Rational numbers are represented by capital Q. Okay, so these are called rational numbers. So now integers are a subset of rational numbers. Okay, now is it clear now? Natural numbers are a subset of whole numbers are subset of integers are subset of rational numbers. So today's topic is, what we are going to discuss deeply about in this session is, we will be discussing about rational numbers. Okay, let's go on with the rational numbers. Discuss about rational numbers. So let's go deep into rational numbers today. So what we have discussed earlier, your teacher has given you marks of 8 by 10, 9 by 10, 7 by 10 and 8 by 10 and so on up to infinity. These are represented by capital Q, rational numbers. Yes, these are called rational numbers. So what are these in the form? Which form are these numbers? These numbers are in a standard form called P by Q. You not only these, you can take 1, 2, 3 by 8, 9, 7 and 8, 6, 4 by 1, 9, 8, 6 and so on you can take. So these are also, what are these in which form? They are in the standard form of P by Q. What are these in the form of? These are in the form of P by Q. So these numbers are in the form of P by Q, where P comma Q belongs to integers. Where P comma Q belongs to integers and Q is not equal to 0. And one more thing we have to remember is Q is not equal to 0. So this chapter you will be having an extension in the 9th and 10th and in your intermediates as well. So just remember all the basics perfectly. So you will be, if you remember the basics, then you can do the chapter easily. Okay. So you can see here P by Q is a rational number. When P by Q belongs to rational number, when does this P by Q belongs to rational number? When P comma Q belongs to integers and Q should not be 0 and Q should not be 0. Then these numbers are called rational numbers. Okay, so what happens? So you will all have a doubt that what happens if q is equal to 0? The number is undefined. So I'll write up like this. See here, 5 by 0. So if I put up 5 by 0, can we divide 0 with 5? Let's see. So if I put up any number here, the reminder, the thing we are, if we multiply any number with 0, we will get 0. So you can see here, if I multiply 2, again 0, again you will get 5. If I put 3, again it's 0. Right? So the number is undefined. If you put up 0 in the denominator, the number is undefined. So you should not, for rational numbers, q should not be equal to 0. Next we will discuss the properties of rational numbers. I guess you people have discussed about properties of natural numbers and whole numbers in your earlier classes. Today we will be discussing about properties of rational numbers. Let's discuss about the closure property. So what is closure property? So if a and b are two rational numbers, if a comma b belongs to rational numbers, then a plus b should also belong to q. Okay. And a minus b should also belong to q. And a into b should also belong to q. And a by b should also belong to q. Okay. Now let's see whether these are going to satisfy or not. Okay. Let's see. So let me take a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2 by 3. Okay. Let me take a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2 by 3. Let me solve this. 1 plus 2 by 3. Okay, let's do the LCM part. Now 3 is the LCM. So multiply this with 3 and here also you multiply it with 3. Okay, so see here 1 into 3 is 3 plus 2 which is equal to 5 by 3. So does 5 by 3 belongs to Q? Yes, 5 by 3 belongs to Q. So now A plus B is satisfied. So what is the statement here? If A and B are two rational numbers and sum of their two rational numbers, sum of A and B should also be a rational number, then the property is satisfied. Then closure property is satisfied. Let's see one more example. Let's take A is equal to 4 by 3 and B is equal to 2. Okay, is it okay? 4 by 3 minus 2. So if a whole number is there, if only one number is there, denominator is considered as 1. Yes? Now let's take LCM. So for 1 and 3, what is the LCM? 3. Now 4 minus, so multiply the numerator and denominator with 3. 3 2s are 6 and 4 minus 6 is minus 2 by 3. So minus 2 by 3, does it belong to rational number? Yes. So this property is also satisfied. So subtraction is also satisfied under closure property. So subtraction of two numbers. Now what can we state from here? If A and B are two rational numbers, then A minus B also belongs to a rational number. Is it clear? Now next, let's check whether A into B is also going to be satisfied or not. Let me take one more example. A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 3 by 2. Okay, now A into B, 5 into 3 by 2. So 5 3s are 15 by 2. So let's see, is it clear? So 15 by 2, is it a rational number? Yes, it is. So this belongs to rational number. So if I put up 0 also belongs to rational number. If I put up a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 3 by 2. So 0 into 3 by 2 is 0. 0 also belongs to rational number. Is it satisfied? Yes. Next, let's check a by b is also a rational number. A divided by b is also a rational number or not. Now, for suppose a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 5 by 2. So let's see 2 by 5 by 2, which is equal to 2 into 10. Yes? Is it correct? Correct. Is it correct? Okay. Then 4 by 5, which is also belongs to rational number. For suppose, let me take one more example here. A is equal to 3 and b is equal to 0. So if I put up 0 in the denominator, earlier we have discussed. Yes? Yes. So if I put up 0 in the denominator, it is undefined. So now what can we state here? A and b are two rational numbers. If A and B are two rational numbers and A by B also belongs to rational number, but B should not be equal to 0. B should not be equal to 0. So if we put up B is equal to 0, then the property is not satisfied. So all these three properties are satisfied and division is also satisfied, but one condition is there, that is B should not be equal to 0. Okay, let's see the next property, which is commutative property. The next property is commutative property. So commutative property, what is the commutative property states? So the binary operation, if A and B belongs to rational numbers, then A comma B, then binary operation should be the same on the two sides. If you change the order of the binary operation, the result should be the same. So let's see. Now A plus B is equal to B plus A. So this is commutative under addition. Then A minus B is equal to B minus A. This is commutative under subtraction. Then A into B is equal to B into A. Then A by B is equal to B by A. Now let's see. Let's take examples and solve whether which binary operation. So what is binary operation? All the basic operations like plus, minus, multiplication and division. These are all called binary operations. All these four signs are called binary operations. So let me rub it off because you will get confused here. And let's see if these are going to satisfy or not. Let me take one example. A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 2 by 5. So let me take LHS. 3 plus 2 by 5. So if nothing is there in the denominator, we have to consider it as 1. So what is the LCM? 5. So multiply the numerator and denominator with 5. Then 5 3s are 15 plus 2. So 17 by 5 is the LHS. Coming to the RHS side, B plus A, 2 by 5 plus 3. Now take LCM 5, 2 plus. So multiply the numerator and denominator with 5. 5 3s are 15, 17 by 5. So is it satisfied? Yes, it is satisfied. So commutative is property is satisfied under addition. Commutative property satisfied under addition. So this is satisfied. Let's see whether commutative property is satisfied under subtraction or not. Let me take example. A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 6 by 5. Now let's go with the LHS side. 3 minus 6 by 5. Take 1. 5 into 5 numerator and denominator. 5 is the LCM. 5 3s are 15 minus 6. So what is 15 minus 6? 9 by 5. Is it correct? Yes. So let's go with the RHS side. 6 by 5 minus 3. Taking LCM, again 5 is the LCM. Multiply numerator and denominator with 5. 6 minus 15, which is equal to minus 9 by 5. So is it correct? Is it satisfying? Whether is it satisfying under subtraction or not? No, it's not satisfying under subtraction. So commutative is not satisfied under subtraction. Is it okay? Then let's go here. So A into B and B into A. Let me take example. A is equal to 3. Why should I take always 3? Let's take 7. Yes. Let me take 7. 7. And B is equal to 5 by 4. Okay. So 7 into 5 by 4 is equal to A into B. 7 into 5 by 4 is equal to 5 by 4 into 7. Yes? 7 5s are 35 by 4 is equal to 7 5s are 35 by 4. Now LHS is equal to RHS. Now commutative property is satisfied under multiplication for rational numbers. Okay, let's see what is this under division. Is whether it is satisfied under division or not. Let's take an easy example. If you want, you can do other example as well. Okay, let me take an easy example. A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 5. Now 4 by 5 is equal to 5 by 4. Is it correct? No. So commutative property is satisfied only for addition and multiplication. Commutative property is satisfied under addition and multiplication. Is it correct? Is it clear? Yes. So let's go to the next property, that is associative property. Associative property. So in associative property, if you had to add 3 numbers, you can add the numbers or subtract the numbers or multiply all the binary operations in any order. So if A, B, C belongs to rational numbers. Okay, let's see. Let's see under addition. A plus B plus C is equal to A plus B plus C. So the same, it should be the same. Answer should be same on the both sides. Then we can say it as associative property. Now let's go with the subtraction. A minus B minus C is equal to A minus B minus C. So let's do the multiplication and division later. So let's take it. A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 3. C is equal to 2 by 3. Okay. Now let's take the LHS side. Let's take in the LHS side. So 5 plus 3 plus 2 by 3 is equal to 5 plus 3 plus 2 by 3. Okay. So let's check that. So taking LCM. So what did I tell you earlier? So I have told you that in the denominator it should be 1. So if 1 is there in the denominator, if nothing is there in the denominator, if nothing is there in the denominator, what should we consider? We should consider it as 1. Now taking LCM. So let's take the LCM. Now multiply with 3. Here also multiply with 3. Now see here 5 3s are 15 plus 3 3s are 9 plus 2. Okay. Here also. Let's see on the RHS side as well. Now 3 is the LCM. Multiply with 3 and on numerator and denominator. Here also multiply with 3. 5 3s are 15 plus 3 3s are 9 plus 2. Let's see here 15 plus 9. What is 15 plus 9? 24. 24 plus 2 it's 26. So 26 by 3. And here also let's see, 15 plus 9 is 24. 24 plus 2, 26. So 26 by 3. So LHS is equal to RHS. So what should we say here? We have to say that A, B, C or three rational numbers. If we add these three numbers in any order, then it is the property is satisfied under associative. The property is satisfied under associative. So let's take one more example here for subtraction. A is equal to 2 by 3, B is equal to 5 by 6 and C is equal to 3. Okay. It's a bit complicated, right? It's okay. Let's solve this. 2 by 3 minus, so 5 by 6 minus 3. So if nothing is there, 1. So earlier I forgot to tell you, one thing we have to do is BODMAS rule. I guess you people have studied earlier in your earlier classes BODMAS rule. So what is BODMAS rule? What is this rule? Bracket of D is missing here, right? Bracket of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So what should be the order of solving the problem? So if you have an equation, you have to take it in this order. So what is the order? You have to consider first bracket. Whatever the thing which is inside the bracket, you have to consider that. Then you have to go for the division, then multiplication, then addition, and the last is the subtraction. This is called BODMAS rule, which you would have studied in your earlier classes. Okay. So let me see here. So let's take. So what should we do under BODMAS rule? Under BODMAS rule, first we have to consider under inside. What is inside the bracket? Now let's consider what is inside the bracket. 2 minus 3 of. So what is LCM for here? 6. So multiply with 6 in the numerator and denominator. 5 minus 6 3s are 18. So 2 by 3 minus 5 minus 18 is minus 13 by 6. Yes. Now let's solve it. It's taking a bit big one because we have taken account great numbers of more value. Now see here, minus into minus is plus. Yes. Now 2 by 3 plus 13 by 6. Okay. Now 2 by 3 plus 13 by 6 is, now here the LCM is 6. So multiply numerator and denominator with 2. 4 plus 13, that is 17 by 6. This is a LHS side. Let's take RHS. So I will rub it and I will show it again for you here. So I will put up 17 by 6 here. I will not have rubbed up the solution. So 17 by 6 is the LHS side. Let me take the RHS side. RHS side is 2 by 3. What is A? It is 2 by 3. And what is B? 5 by 6. Minus, what is C? 3. Okay. So again taking the LCM, 6 multiply with 2 on the numerator and denominator. 4 minus 5 minus 3. Now 4 minus 5 is minus 1 by 6 minus 3, which is equal to, again taking 6 as the LCM, minus 1 minus 6. So minus 7 by 6. Minus 7 by 6. So LHS is not equal to RHS. Now it is not satisfied. Subtraction is not satisfied under associative. Is it okay? Let's see whether we have discussed about addition and subtraction. Now we shall be discussing about multiplication and division, whether they are satisfied under associative property or not. Okay. A into B into C is equal to A into B into C. Okay, and one more thing is division. A divided by B by C is equal to A by B divided by C. Is it okay? Now let's check all these both of them, both the binary operations, and let's see whether they are satisfied or not. Now let me take A is equal to 3, B is equal to 4 and C is equal to 2 by 5. Okay. Now let me take LHS. What is LHS answer? Yes. Now 3 into what is B? 4 into 2 by 5. Now let's see. Let me do the first under BODMAS rule, bracket off. So which is inside the bracket. 4 2s are 8 by 5. 8 3s are 24. 24 by 5. Okay. This is LHS side, and let's check about RHS. So A into B first, 3 into 4 into 2 by 5. Now according to we have to do the binary operations which are inside the brackets. For 3s are 12 into 2 by 5. 12 2s are 24 by 5. Now you can see here LHS is equal to RHS. LHS is equal to RHS. Now if LHS is equal to RHS, then the binary operation multiplication is satisfied under associative property. Let me check down for binary operation under division whether it is satisfied for associative or not. Okay, let me take the example. A is equal to 2, B is equal to 4 and C is equal to 5. Okay, so A is 2 by what is B? 4 by C is 5. You can see here 2 divided by 4 by 5 which is equal to 2 by 4 by 5 which is equal to, I'll do it here, 2 into 5 by 4 which is equal to 5 2s are 10 by 4. This is LHS side. Okay. Let's go on to RHS side. RHS is A by B 2 by 4 divided by 4 divided by 5. So what is 2 divided by 4? 2 by 4 divided by bracket of divided by 5. Then see here 2 by 4 by 5 which is equal to 2 by 4 into 1 by 5. It's equal to 2 by 20. Is LHS is equal to RHS? No, it's not equal to RHS. So this is not satisfied under associative property. So the binary operation division is not satisfied under associative property. So your associative property is done. Okay. So the next topic is role of 0. What is the role of 0 in our rational numbers or in our mathematics, whatever you think. Okay, let's role of 0. If I add 3 plus 0, if I take a number 3 and if I add 0 to it, what is the number you are getting? 3. If I take minus 4 and if I add 0 to it, what will I get? Minus 4. And if I take 2 by 5 and if I add 0 to it, what will I get? 2 by 5. So if I add any number to 0, then you will get the same number. So can I assume these numbers as one constant, that is a variable, sorry. If I assume all these numbers as a variable, yes, can I name it as A? Now, A plus 0 is equal to A. This is the rule of role of A. 0, sorry. This is the role of 0. 0 is called the additive identity. 0 is called the additive identity. Now you have to remember one more point, that is 0 is called, what is 0 called? Additive identity. Is it clear? Now, role of 0 is, so if you add any number to 0, you will get the same number. So this is called additive identity. So let's see role of 1. 0, what is 0 called? 0 is called additive identity. Role of 1. What is role of 1? So let's take, so I will take 2 by 3 and I will multiply it with 1. Then what is the answer? 2 by 3. So if I take 5 and multiply it with 1, I will get 5 answer. If I take 100 and I will multiply it with 1, and again I will get 100 as the answer. So all these numbers can be taken as single variable, that is A. Yes, can I take it as A into 1 is equal to A. Then 1 is called multiplicative identity. What is 1 called? 1 is called multiplicative identity. 1 is called multiplicative identity. So you have to remember these 2 points. 0 is called additive identity and 1 is called multiplicative identity. So we have inverse. The next topic which we are going to discuss today is inverse. So we have 2 types of inverse. Inverse, one is additive inverse and the other one is multiplicative inverse. So now let's first see about additive inverse. First let's see about additive inverse. So if I will take 2 comma minus 2. So I will add these 2 numbers. 2 plus minus 2 is equal to 0. And I will take minus 100 plus 100 which is equal to 0. So when 2 numbers are multiplied, when 2 numbers are multiplied, when 2 numbers are added with the same, when 2 numbers are added, if 2 numbers are added and the resultant is 0, then those 2 numbers are additive inverse of each other. So what is the statement of additive inverse? What is the point which we are discussing here today? If 2 numbers are added and when the resultant is 0, then those 2 numbers are called additive inverse of each other. So let's see here. A plus of minus A is equal to 0. So A plus of minus A is equal to 0. Now let's see. Now A and minus A are called additive inverse of each other. A and minus A are called, what are A and minus A are called? Additive inverse of each other. A comma minus A are called additive inverse of each other. Now, I will ask you a simple question. So, what is the additive inverse of minus 8 by 9? Now, put it in the comment section below. What is the additive inverse of minus 8 by 9? Okay? Is it clear? Next, let's discuss about multiplicative inverse. So let's discuss about multiplicative inverse. So what is multiplicative inverse? So when I am multiplying it 1 by 2 into 2 by 1, what is the resultant? 1. When you multiply two numbers and the resultant is going to be 1, then these two numbers are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Then these two numbers are called multiplicative inverse of each other. So let me take one more example. So I'll take minus 8 by 6 into minus 6 by 8. So these two are called multiplicative inverse of each other. So when you are, what is the resultant? 1. So these two numbers are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Now let's see the statement here. Let's see the point. Now A by B into C by D should always be equal to 1. Then these two are called multiplicative inverse of each other. These two are called multiplicative inverse of each other. A by B and C by D are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Now A by B into C by D. These two are called multiplicative inverse of each other. Okay? Is it clear up to now? Now we have in inverse, we have additive inverse and multiplicative inverse. And in additive inverse, we have A and minus A are called additive inverse of each other. When you add any two numbers, your resultant should be equal to 0. And in multiplicative inverse, if you multiply any two numbers, then the resultant should be equal to 1. Then those two numbers are called multiplicative inverse of each other. You have one more question now. That is, what is the multiplicative inverse of minus 16 by 7? What is the multiplicative inverse of minus 16 by 7? Put it in the comment section below. Topic is distributivity of multiplication over addition. Distributivity of multiplication over addition. Now let's consider A, B, C or belongs to Q. So these three variables are rational numbers. Then A into B plus C is equal to, so you are multiplying A with B and again you are multiplying A with C. So you are multiplying A with B and again you are multiplying A with C. A into B plus A into C. Now you can see here, so in this A into B, first you are adding two numbers and then you are multiplying it with another number, another variable. Okay, first you are adding two variables and then you are multiplying it with another variable. Now let's see. Okay, let's take an example and solve it. So let me take A is equal to 5, B is equal to 11 by 2 and C is equal to 9 by 2. Okay. Now let's see. So let me take LHS first. In the LHS side, 5 into, what is B? 11 by 2 plus, what is C? 9 by 2. Let me take the LCM. 5 into 11 plus 9. 5 into, what is 11 plus 9? 20 by 2. Right, 2 ones are 2 tens are. So 5 into 10 is 50. Now the LHS side we got 50. And coming to the RHS side. Now let me take the RHS side. So 5 into 11 by 2 plus what is A? 5 into what is C? 9 by 2. Now what we have discussed earlier according to Bodmer's rule. So what we have to do? We have to multiply which is present inside the bracket. Then whatever the binary operations which are present inside the bracket, that has to be done first, and then we have to move on to other operations, right? First binary operations which are present inside the bracket of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So first we have to do what is present inside the brackets. So 5 into 11 is 55 by 2 plus 9 5s are 45 by 2. Now see here, both LCMs is 2, 55 plus 45 which is equal to 100. 100 by 2 which is equal to 50. Now here LHS is also 50, RHS is also 50. Now it is satisfied. So you are multiplying distributivity. Now this variable A is distributed with the other two variables equally. Now you can see here. That's all for today. Let's finish off the exercise part and examples which are present in our book, and then we'll move on to the next topic in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you have any doubts,